Hi, welcome to Principles of Project Management ICT 4100 Roadmap Week 5. This is Professor Bauer. Thank you for taking just a few minutes as we walk through what this fifth week holds. We'll do a brief review and particularly the RDQ assignment, which has had some confusion associated with it. We'll try to clear that up. An overview of the week, activities, assignments, preview of the Thursday night class, and then the work breakdown structure, WBS, the major assignment for the Parachute.com teamwork. And then insights on leadership, pithy thoughts for the road and for those who are aspiring to be leaders. Okay, we'll look at last week in terms of review. The RDQ participation, we've got the grades cleared up. The RDQ participation assignment is not being handled all that well, and I think it's because this is the first time I've taught a Zoom class and have not focused on the RDQ requirement. So, from the syllabus, Class 5, Week 5 class participation, make sure to get your weekly discussion points, and R stands for resonated. Like, what did you hear that resonated with you, or concepts or topics? And then what did you disagree with? I mean, it's hard to disagree with Professor Bauer, but I'll give you that opportunity. Is there something that perhaps we should have another perspective we should have considered? So that's the D in the RDQ. And then finally, what questions do you still have? Things that we can come back and cover in weeks to come. So because this was not communicated clearly, we believe in mercy. And so mercy will be extended through weeks 1 through 4, but no more mercy. Week 5, you are responsible for an RDQ assignment, so keep that in mind. Okay, let's continue to look at week 5. This is time management, scheduling, probably one of the most important, other than writing it all down, what you've got to do, how you manage time and resources, probably one of the more significant parts of a good project manager skill set. So, don't forget RDQ. You've got readings and lectures on project time management, instructional materials to read, and make sure that you get the lecture on scope definition. There are discussions on work breakdown structure, WBS, for a party. If you use a work breakdown schedule for a party, I mean, unless it's for like the president of the University of Denver or the United States or something like that, you have too much free time, okay? Hopefully, part of college at the undergraduate level is learning how to party without a Gantt chart. So, no, but seriously, this is kind of a fun way to take a look at an assignment, and then also a discussion on obstacles. WBS is, to me, one of the closest things we have to a real contract that everybody gets to see. You know, things get contractualized after they get all spelled out, and etc. And sometimes the members of the project team don't actually see the product, the contract, because it's all legalese and you know, all kinds of codicils and provisos and things like that. But the WBS breaks it all down into atomic, molecular kinds of activities that make up the final project. So the team assignment is to create such, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Don't forget, after doing a lot of step-by-step last week, we have 3 chapters, 13, 14, and 15 in the step-by-step. Hope you're liking that, because very soon, as in next week, you're going to be using Microsoft Project to actually complete assignments that relate to Parachute.com. So Thursday night, we'll look at getting a WBS right. We'll review some of the material. We'll also talk about how to get it right. And then what I want to do is preview something you'll do in week 6, so that as you're working on scheduling, you'll start really paying attention to the parts of step-by-step that talk about schedules, because you'll need to create a project schedule for the Parachute.com. So finally, after working in all this theoretical practicality, now you'll actually be able to take these skills and put them to practice in a real project plan for Parachute.com. So hopefully you'll get that, and it'll be good. All right, so the WBS for Parachute.com, it is a Word document, and you can find it pretty easily there. You've already in previous documents identified the structural activities, so you have a sense of the major deliverables. If you look at, are there sub-parts of that, or processes that would be work packages that you have to create in some kind of thematic or some kind of chronological sequence. So keep that in mind. Structure them in deliverables and sub-deliverables, the so-called work packages, and you're fine there. But be careful, and remember that if it's in the WBS, it's got to be done. So make sure that all the cool things that you guys have talked about doing, you make sure you reflect those in your WBS, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to do those, but it does mean that you've got to list them as activities that somebody else is going to do. Okay, just to make sure, since this is a pretty big assignment, 70 points, again, always look at measure of success. Summary tasks shown in bold. Work packages are in plain text. Summary milestones shown in red. Okay, it's just the way the format works here. Make sure that you write this in a special kind of syntax, using nouns for the deliverables and results as verbs. Website completed. Marketing plan fulfilled and socialized. So make sure that you keep it that way. You've got 5 process groups included in the WBS. So keep that in mind as far as how you format those. As I mentioned earlier, 70 possible points. So make sure you've got someone on your team who is your rubric guru, who will make sure that you've got all those deliverables and done well, and you'll be in great shape. So good luck with that assignment. Can you believe we're halfway done? At this coming Sunday, we will be halfway there. So keep up the great work, your good example. I want to share with you about the power of example. You may have heard this. It's a simple poem written by a man named Edgar Guest, but it reflects the nature of real leadership. In a world filled with talk and PowerPoint and blah blah, there are still keys to leadership that are beyond the paper that you produce. Sermons That We See by Edgar Guest. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one should walk with me than merely tell the way. The eye's a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Fine counsel is confusing, but example is always clear. And the best of all the preachers are the men and women who live out their creeds. For to see good put in action is what everybody needs. I soon can learn to do it if you'd let me see it done. I can watch your hands in action, but your tongue too fast may run. And the lecture you deliver may be very wise and true. No chance of that happening. But I'd rather get my lessons by observing what you do. For I might misunderstand you and the high advice you give, but there's no misunderstanding about how you act and how you live. You want to see a great project manager? Watch that man or that woman manage a project. Organization, handling complaints, handling difficulties, handling crises, making sure that the accolades for success get spread about throughout the team. Working humbly and confidently, always a tough balance. So these are the leadership qualities that good PMs have, and I'm just passing those along for you. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye now.